Hello everyone and welcome back to a new review for another new show for the summer season. It's the Master of Ragnarok and Blesser of Ineria. And I will make it really quick. I enjoyed the first episode, but it was way too rushed. If I remember correctly, it covered about half of volume 1 of the novel series. And which is kinda sad because we skipped a lot of stuff that I think is kinda important for the main character and the setting overall, but yeah, maybe we will get back to it a bit, or we will focus on the ongoing story and not really how the protagonist ended up in that world. So, what's this about? We follow Yuto, a typical normal Japanese high school boy, who went to a shrine with his childhood friend, which was not shown in the anime, we just saw a bit of it in the opening. And when they looked into the mirror of the shrine and he took a selfie, he was, swept away to another world. And yeah, like I've said, this was sadly not used in the anime itself, just in the opening. But basically there was a rumor going on that you might find something supernatural there. Kinda the urban legend, you know. And yeah, it did happen. He was swept away. And then he was transported to another world, which may or may not be another world, because he thinks that this might be just another time on Earth, based on the stars and how the sky looks. And his guess is that he may be something in the northern part of the world, but he doesn't know where exactly. But based on the culture and what the people are using, there might be something. But there's also magic, so was magic simply lost in the development of human society? Who knows? But this story is, at least in the anime, it's pretty much all about him being the clan leader of the Wolf Clan. And it again skipped basically his arrival at that world and how he was in the beginning. So he was really weak physically, he had a lot of problems, he was kinda sickly, more like it. Because different environment, the food, all this kind of stuff that may happen. And then we have his, let's call her sister, because he is, as the clan leader, he is either addressed as the father by the people who are in absolute servitude to him, or as the older brother by those who are closer to him in rank. And then there are also the elders, who were the brothers of the previous clan chief, but yeah. All in all, this focus is heavy on the warfare story, with a little bit of development of certain items, techniques that will benefit, that will make life easier. But most of it is basically just warfare, and he is able to stay in contact with his childhood friend with his smartphone. Yes, he has a smartphone. And yes, he says he is cheating, but he is not OP. That's the funny thing about it. Basically, he has about half an hour per day where he can talk, or where he can call his childhood friend, and then he basically talks a bit with her. She is waiting for him. she's really worried about him. And she is sending him books about war, development, history, all these kind of stuffs which he is using to learn about warfare, development, leading, negotiations, all these things he needs as the clan chief, which he is also using. And we have this grand battle in the very first episode as well, where they win and they will capture the head of the opposing clan, which he will not attack, but he will talk, negotiate. At first he's like, yeah, become my daughter, basically in absolute servitude. And she's like, no way. And then later on he's like, yeah, then my sister, and if not, then, well, maybe I will just go and do what I did there. Which is basically bluff, an infamous tragedy that happened. And he is kinda feared for this, but she agrees. And then we basically jump to the chalice where they have the ceremony and she becomes the sworn little sister of his. Which is then interrupted by the news that the Warren clan is attacked and they are still, well, in trouble because of the war that was. And yeah, when then the elders and Yuto are having the meeting and he's like, yeah, we have this problem, and they're like, yeah, it's really bad, but we can't really do something about it, right? Which pisses Yuto off. He was basically like, yeah, we had the ceremony right on the same day we break that. Fuck this, shut up, I will do it. So then it will move into the next war for the next episode. All in all, really enjoyable. And there's quite a bit of fan service and some jokes, but the fan service most of the time is more about how the girls are dressed. And yeah, but it's not to the point where it's distracting from the actual story, because I kinda enjoyed the warfare, even though it is kinda rushed, but in the light novels it was really good. So really looking forward to it, and I hope the pacing will slow down a bit, because going for 5 or 6 volumes for the single core anime is way too much. But yeah, that's it for now. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope I will see you guys next time as well. See ya!